So now that I have my project and I have my problem, it's time to start doing research or review of the literature. All right. So once you have your problem, before you do anything else, you have to do research. You cannot write a hypothesis. You cannot write your materials and procedures and all that until you do your research. So that's why it's the first thing that you should do the first week of digital science fair. Okay. So this is where you're going to do your research. You're going to ask your questions. You're going to go to the internet. If you have books or library, then you can do that. Or if you have information at your house besides that, you can. My guess is that everybody's going to be looking online. All right. So when you're doing that, you want to keep track of your resources. So I have attached a page that says bibliography, my resources. So if you go to a website and you take notes and you write your stuff down, make sure you write down the title of that website, or not the title, the address, www.blah. All right. So you're going to write your report, your paragraphs. You want to have at least 3 sources, so 3 different websites. And a good way of looking at it, especially if you're in 5th or 6th grade, is you're going to ask 3 questions. You're going to search 3 sites, and you're going to have 3 paragraphs when you're done. All right. If you are in 7th or 8th grade, your should be much more thorough and a lot more detailed. So you would want to write more of a 5-paragraph essay, which you have done with Ms. Park many, many times. All right. So when you're doing your research, you're going to make sure this is extremely important. And it's right here on your slide. You cannot plagiarize, which means you cannot copy. You need to write your research in your own words. All right, that's very, very important. All right, so I have attached some different slides for you to go ahead and write. Why is it? There we go. All right, so you can either take notes on a different page and actually write your paragraph in on here, or you can take research notes for your paragraphs and your questions on here. That's up to you. It's your journal. Use it as you would like. All right. So for my example was this density tower, right? And I'm going to start doing some research. I'm going to make sure I'm not plagiarizing. I'm going to make sure I write things in my own words, and I'm going to ask good questions. So I'm learning about density. I'm going to go over to my project. One of the reasons why education.com is a good website is because it gives you a lot of information to go off of. So this is my project that I was looking at, and it gives me some goals. So I'm going to look at the densities of different liquids and how they're used, and then it gives me right here some research questions. How is density measured? So first of all, I want to learn what is density. Then I'm going to learn about how it's measured, and then the other question says, what are the practical applications of differences in liquid density? All right, so before I even talk about how it's measured, I'm going to figure out what is density. All right, so when you look at your project, one of the biggest things you can ask is, what is that topic that you're looking at? Okay, so if you are creating a wind-powered something from your recycling, you could say, what is a renewable energy? What is wind power? Maybe you're doing a chemical reaction between vinegar and baking soda to create gas, whatever. You could say, what is a chemical reaction? Let's see. You're looking at your sense of smell. You're doing that project about sense of smell, or what foods mold fastest. Okay, if you're looking at mold and how foods mold, maybe you would look up the question, what is mold? If you're looking up your sense of smell, what is smell? How do you smell? How does the nose work? Those types of questions. So you're kind of trying to understand the background of what you're researching. So for me, I'm going to start with what is density. All right, so Okay, loading, loading, loading. I'm going to go to Google. Come on now. Okay, I'm going to Google and I'm gonna look for what is density. I don't think you guys can actually see this, can you? So I'm gonna go. Sorry, I don't think you guys can see this, but I'm gonna go to a new tab. I'm gonna type in what is density, and I think because the tab was not up when I first started recording my screen. Sorry, guys. So I'm gonna look at what is density. And then just as a reminder, when I'm looking at my websites, which websites, the best websites are the ones, oh, there's working now. So I typed in what is density. The dot orgs, dot nets, dot govs are better. I tend to try and stay away from Wikipedia, even though it says .org, because anybody can add to Wikipedia. Just saying. All right. So I'm going to look up what is density. Oh, look, this is a middle school chemistry. What is density? Chapter 3. So this looks like this is actually someone teaching about density. So I'm going to do the best that I can to find out information. It's loading. So I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm going to find the information as best as I can. Oh, look, there's a video. There's concepts. So this might be a good lesson where I could actually listen to a lesson about density. All right. So I can download the lesson. Wow, this I could learn all sorts of stuff. All right. And then if I'm going to take my information from this website, remember that I'm then going to go up to this. Oopsies. I'm going to make sure I get the whole thing, but I'm going to copy that website onto my bibliography, onto my resources. All right. So if I choose to use this resource, I will write it down and keep track of where I got my information. All right. So I'm not going to copy this information. I'm going to write it in my own words. All right. So after I finish this, I'll take notes on what is density, and then I will go to my second question and my second paragraph and research how is density measured. All right. And then maybe I'll look at why is density different between different objects. Okay. So 3 questions, 3 paragraphs, 3 sources. All right. So go ahead and when you have written down your notes, you're going to write it in a paragraph, 1 paragraph for each question. Do the best that you can. If you are still stuck, on this and you need some help, you need some guidance, please send me a message so I can help you out and give you some pointers, okay? If I don't hear from you and I'm checking on you and you say you're doing okay, then I'm going to assume you're doing great, all right? So let me know if you need help. Take your notes, write your paragraphs, all right? So by the end of your research, you should have 3 paragraphs for each question. All right? See you soon.